guys from the locker room, the clubhouse? Is there?
Yeah, Dennis Santana's on the bereavement list, so Hunter will be with us until Denny's back.
What did you see out of Hunter in Indianapolis?
Well, I think we had to check off some boxes for him just because of the fact he really didn't have much of a spring training or any spring training, and he's been throwing the ball well. He's done different things, and so it's a situation to get a look at him with, having a unfortunate situation.
How pleased were you though with his mentality of how he attacked all of his rehab? Todd Tom's like every time we talked to him, it's just like he couldn't believe how far ahead he was and almost had to slow him down at times to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes throughout the whole offseason. I mean, he dominated, a pretty significant injury and was able to get himself back and in a position to pitch. And, now we just get an opportunity to look at it.
Knowing that, was that a surprise that he kind of just maybe sort of exceeded expectations in terms of his recovery?
No, with the way he works and how he handles things, I don't think it was a surprise that he was going to tackle that head on.
Shelty, how do you try to evaluate Gorski because of the limited opportunities he has? What have you seen from his approaches on off days, and what have been your opinions of him?
His approach has been good. I mean, he's in a situation right now with, the at-bats we have for him or where they're at, but overall, I've been pleased with it.
We see him in the outfield at all, or is he pretty much here for first base?
No, you may see him in the outfield. I mean, there's chances depending on what our structure is or what happens in game. You can see him in the outfield too.
But as far as Carmen goes, how important is it for him to kind of figure out getting to the second time he's out right now?
Very important. I mean, it's something we're talking about. We got to figure out the consistency and making sure that he just doesn't stay in the middle of the plate as much as he has.
Have you had any conversation with him, or as far as keeping him in that starting role, kind of moving him around at all, maybe in between?
In what way?
Like relieving, rather.
No, I mean, we have not talked about that yet.
In year two, Derek, how have you found Paul countering how the league has tried to counter to him?
Well, I think we saw it the other day in LA, just use of the curveball, ability to, execute different pitches, ability to show different game plans.
With the Cubs being the opponent that he'll face next, you saw that 4 times last year. Did you notice an aptitude to be able to do that even in year 1, and how has he built upon that here in year 2?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge. I mean, you play 4 series against a team, and he wasn't with us until May, and he got them all 4 times. He showed that ability last year. I think we saw him use different pitches at different times. This lineup's a little bit different than it has been in the past, so he'll have to, navigate through it a little differently. But his aptitude and ability to adjust is, I think, one of the things that makes him elite.
One thing he talked about with us a second ago was sort of the importance of, you try to learn things from what the hitters are doing and even what other pitchers you might be able to pick up on, but learning from what he's doing himself is still key and the most important. How do you find he walks that balance between, not overloading himself with information?
Well, in terms of overloading himself with information, I think he does a good job of prioritizing what are the most important things. And again, going back to I think your first question, that's where he's elite. His ability, especially at 22, to be able to kind of disseminate how he's going to break down a game, and then also realize what's working that day. And he's fortunate that he's got multiple weapons that he can go to actually attack people.
Shelty, what has impressed you most about Ryan Borucki this year, given how good he was in 23 and how unavailable he was last year?
Well, I think it's health. Just making sure the health, the execution's been good. But if we can get back to the 23 version or really close version, we're in good shape, because over the last month and a half of that season, he was arguably one of the top 3 or 4 left-on-left guys in baseball, or left-handed pitchers, left-handed relievers in baseball. So getting him back to that is really important, and making sure we monitor his health along the way.
With Dennis unavailable, does this make Bednar your top right-handed leverage on right now at the pen?
Yeah, I mean, I would say availability-wise that right now with Lawrence being down, Santana being down, we've provided a little bit of challenge with that role. So we're going to have to figure it out. And then when guys get opportunities, they have to get people out.
Shelty, with Heaney going today, you guys have done a really good job identifying external lefties, free agent pitchers, bringing them in here. You guys have also obviously identified and grown some young pitching. Are there any strands that are common to both of those, like a type or stuff that you guys can identify organizationally that works with both?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the global answer to that is they're left-handed, and we like left-handers in this ballpark. I think that's probably the place where we start, and then after that, it's just identifying different attributes or stuff that we think is actually going to play. And I think that's a little bit individualized depending on the pitcher, because I mean, you think about the free agents we brought in, Anderson, Quintana, Heaney in that stretch, all veteran guys. They're all a little bit different in terms
Yeah.
of how they go, but they also all throw strikes. They also attack people.
What are you hearing so far from Altoona as Horwitz gets started down there on his rehab?
I heard he had a really good first game. No, I talked to Andy Fox today, and you know, it sounds like the day went well the other day. I mean, he's going to play again today, and it's just getting him reps. I mean, he hasn't had a spring training. He's missed a ton of time, so we just got to get him continuous reps. But overall, it sounded like the first day was productive.
Shelley,
Bubba Chandler's done lighting it up. How soon could we see him up here?
I don't know. It's a good question. We have not talked about when Bubba's going to be here, or if he's going to be here. Well, I mean, at some point he'll be here, but when yet. But yes, he's been doing a good job, and we just have to continue to build off that.
Does his progression kind of emulate what Paul did last year? When you look, I mean, the build-up looks to be identical as far as how they're adding a couple more pitches each start, going a little bit deeper into ball games. Is it a similar plan to what you guys did with Paul last year?
I think it's similar, but they're different people with different
Yeah.
backgrounds. I mean, Paul, it was his first professional season where Bubba's actually played. So to say there's some consistency to it, that's probably true, but they're different guys.
Shelby, overall with your young pitching, back to the development question, what have you been pleased about what this group has been able to do? I'd imagine Hopper's a part of that, Oscar, there's a whole bunch of people touching them.
Yeah, I mean, it's led by Jeremy Bleich at the top
Sorry,
in
Jeremy.
terms of our director of pitching. But yeah, I think just the consistency throughout the group, that the messaging's the same. And I think, you know, organizationally, we've done a good job of that. We're starting to see the pitchers we've developed in the minor leagues. So we just have to continue. I mean, pitching is gold. You can never have enough of it.
Shelley, I think Pham has hits in 4 of his last 6. What are you seeing from him maybe differently at the plate?
He looks like he's in a more consistent position to hit. I think early on there was a little bit too much movement. It looks like he's settled a little bit more. You know, and I think the one thing with Tommy is, like, he's done this for over the course of years, and he was in a tough stretch, and hopefully we're seeing him work his way out of it to get to more consistent player that, you know, that we signed.